What happens when you get that unexpected phone call, the one that changes everything? For today's guest, that call came from the hospital. Her husband had been in an accident, and in an instant, her life as she knew it was gone. She went from wife to caregiver, advocate, and anchor for her family, all while trying to hold herself together. But out of that chaos came purpose, connection, and a powerful community for others walking the same road. Stay tuned to find out how Erika Brouillette turned her tragedy into something truly life changing. It all starts right
Love
after
and
this.
laughter lead the way through the darkest, hardest days. Hope still burns, it won't retire. This is me, my life rewired. I was broken, now I'm whole. Wrote new chapters for my soul. Not the end, just re-inspired. This is me, my life rewired.
Well, today's guest is somebody who knows firsthand what it means to hold a family together when life gets turned upside down. After her husband's traumatic brain injury, Erika Brouillette found herself juggling it all: caregiver, advocate, mom, and doing it mostly in silence. There was no roadmap, no clear direction, just a determination to keep moving forward. But what I love about Erica's story is that she didn't just stay silent for long. She realized that she wasn't the only one that was caring for the invisible injury, the weight that she began to share her story, connecting with other wives who understood the same struggles. That connection grew a real community where women could finally stop pretending to start healing. Today, Erica helps TBI wives to find clarity, support, and strength through her program, Reclaim. And she's also the host of a podcast called The Real Lives of the TBI Wives. Welcome to the program, Erika Brouillette. Hi, Erica.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
I was missing one thing from your introduction:
What's that?
Superwoman.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty far from that, but thank you.
I always say that the caregivers are the unsung heroes. They're the ones that don't have the capes. So, in my book,
Well, thank you.
today I'm going to don you with that title, Superwoman.
Thank you.
So, if you would take us back, this happened the start of COVID, somewhere around that
October of
time?
2020. Yeah.
Okay, so we were already into COVID
We were
then.
in the
Okay.
midst of it. Yeah.
So, it was just a typical Sunday morning, and you
Yeah.
wake up, and where's hubby?
Yeah. Well, we had woke up. It was a Sunday morning. My husband's car wasn't outside, but he had been doing some overnight shifts at work, so I just chalked it up to he got called into work. He didn't go to church with us, so the boys and I, on a normal basis. So the boys and I had gone to church. We came back. Daddy still wasn't home. Um, we went to the restaurant that we usually go to watch the Patriots game, and he wasn't there either. And so we had come home. I was cooking dinner. Knew something was off. Our older son, he was 10 at the time, had was on the iPad, and he said, "Mommy, I pinged Daddy's iPad or his phone," and he was somewhere in Parker, which is about 20 minutes down the road. And so we turned off dinner. We're walking out the door, and I got that phone call. It
Mm.
was the hospital, the nurse from the hospital, and she said, "Mrs. Brulette, I think we have your husband here. He has already undergone emergency brain surgery. He was in a car accident last night, and we need you to come down and identify him."
Just that word, identify him, that's scary. I can't imagine getting that phone call and what that the wave of emotions that must have been going through
Whew.
you at that moment.
Yeah, there was a lot. I think every emotion that you could think of:
Yeah.
anger, worry,
Mm-hmm.
um, the what happened, what did he do,
Yeah.
what are we going to do now?
All of a sudden, life is like, as you knew it, was like, bye bye.
Yeah, absolutely.
How soon before you realized, okay, I am going to be the one that's making the calls, the decisions? I mean, was this an immediate realization, or did you think things were just going to get back to normal?
Well, I rushed to the hospital. I had to drop the kids off at the neighbor's house and rush to the hospital. They had him there as a John Doe, so when I got there, they couldn't figure out who I was looking for.
Oh no.
So that was a hard part, a
Yeah.
frustrating part.
Hmm.
And so when they finally figured out, oh, it's the John Doe that we have sitting over here, that we've already had given surgery to, found him, and she brought me up, and the only I couldn't recognize his face.
Oh
I
no.
recognized his tattoos. There were tubes everywhere. They call them bolts, where that's drains coming out of his head
Yeah.
to relieve the pressure and the fluid. Um, and so I think that was probably where it got real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the hospitals typically prepare you for the worst case scenario. Did
Hmm.
they do that? Did they say, did they give you chances of survival? I mean,
Yeah, it was very hit or miss. We were in the ICU for, I think, 2 weeks. It's all kind of a blur of like timelines. Um, but we did have to have those hard conversations of, he was trached at the accident site.
mm,
But to put a more permanent trach in, they had that conversation of like, this is where we talk about whether we're going to move forward. And so my
yeah,
question was, what is moving forward? What does that mean? And that was whether we were going to continue to keep him alive. So that was a very hard conversation that I brought his mom and his son into the conversation on, what does that look like?
yeah.
What does keeping him alive mean? So all of his, not all of it, most of his injury was his brain. He had the impact of his head on the windshield, possibly on the building of or of the wall of the building that he hit. And so he had a couple of broken ribs, a fractured nose, and a lacerated liver. And other than that, it was all his brain. All of his organs were functioning. So I asked, so what does that mean? What do you do to stop that? And they told me that they would stop feeding him. And I said, there is no way you are going to starve my husband to death. And
No.
so that's where the fight really began. Yeah.
I'm so glad you fought for him.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we put so much faith in our doctors. How
Hmm.
many people would say, "Oh, go for it," So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great thing. I mean, you were cut out to be an advocate. You probably
Well,
don't
and
think so, but
I think that, well, I keep reassuring myself that if God would have wanted him to go at that time, he would have made it perfectly clear that that was the route that I needed to take. With it being cutting off his food source, that I was, nope, nope, here we go.
I agree with you. I would have made the same call for my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes to eat, so no, you're not cutting her off.
Exactly. He's a foodie. What am I going to, no, no. Yeah.
So I think I read somewhere that was it 2 months or 3 months that he was in a coma?
Yeah. There's is it the Gasco coma scale? So I had no idea a coma was not just laying in the bed with your eyes closed. Like there's different levels of
Oh,
being in a coma. So although he was participating in some of the activities they were having him do, they still considered him emerging from his coma. Like he wasn't completely out of it, essentially until a couple of weeks before he left Craig Hospital, which was 6 months down the road. Yeah. So that was a big learning thing for me because, to me, a coma is you're just laying there on life support, right?
yeah. Well, that's how the
Yeah.
movies depict it too. So
Yeah.
and where do
That's
we
what the
get all
movies
of our
tell you.
knowledge from on brain injuries? From the
Yeah.
TV shows and movies.
Yep. Yep.
Which is why people like yourself and myself are trying to distir that, was it
Yeah.
stigma? Yeah,
Stigma.
because
Absolutely.
Hollywood does not portray a brain injury the way it is.
Right.
They're getting a little better. Some of the more recent TV shows that have come out are doing a better job, but they have a long way to go.
Yeah. Well, and I think it takes people like me and you, and the others that I follow, to show people that a brain injury isn't just a person like Shelby. Like it's easy to know that he has a brain injury or that there's something wrong. His
Yeah,
disability is not invisible. Where someone like you, it is.
Yeah. I mean, we're all up and down the scale. So
Yeah.
it's
No brain injury is alike.
right. They're all like a snowflake.
Yep. And no brain injury wife is alike either.
That's true. I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, I know why you do it because you love your husband
Yeah,
and you took your vows seriously.
I did.
But it just breaks my heart the number of people that just say I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, but I also think that unless you're put in this position, you don't know how you'll respond.
Right.
And with each injury being different,
Mm-hmm.
and their healing being different. I just interviewed a gal last week who her brain injury husband became violent, and that is not something that I'm going to advocate to stay into.
Yeah.
So I do believe that each woman is different, and each brain injury is different, and we don't know how we are going to respond
Mm-hmm.
to a tragedy. And so I feel like there may be judgment on both sides, but we have to give each other grace and
Yes.
know that each one of us is doing the best that we can with the
Mm-hmm.
resources that we have.
You hit the nail on the head when you said grace. You
Yeah,
really did because people don't do that. We don't give ourselves grace.
absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, who is our own worst critic? The person in the mirror.
Yeah, I take a look back at the way I did things or how I responded to things in the past 5 years, and the like wishing that I could do the redo button,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't. And so being able to give myself that grace and understand that I was doing what I thought was best is what I have to come to terms with.
I've interviewed a lot of caregivers, and that's the constant thing that I hear come up all the time is I wish I'd have reacted differently to certain
Hmm.
situations. But then you're human.
Yeah.
We're all human. None of us are perfect.
And it's not failure, it's just
It's
feedback.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a way to learn from your mistakes. I mean, we're not growing
absolutely.
if we're not learning from our mistakes,
Yep. We never knew we'd be placed in this position.
right?
And we were never trained to do the things that we have to do.
I wish there was a handbook, but there is not. We're it's and you know what the thing is though, if there was a handbook, it wouldn't apply to everybody.
Yep. Yeah.
You
Because,
know,
like you said, we're all snowflakes. We're all different.
hmm
Yeah.
it's not like someone that breaks an arm. That okay, we're going to put you in a cast, and then you're going to have this on for X amount of weeks, and then we're going to cut it off, and you're going to have full use of your arm again. Well,
Right.
that's clear cut. Brain
Yep.
injuries are definitely not clear cut.
No.
And I had a neurologist that told me one time that you could take 20 people, line them up, and hit them the same force, the same spot, every single one of them. They'll
Hmm.
all display different symptoms.
Yeah.
It's because we're different.
Yep.
So tell us about okay, you've got your husband out of the hospital.
Hmm.
Things are improving. I don't like
Yep.
to say getting better, but they're improving.
Yep.
You're getting your new roadmap. So you're
Yeah.
seeing what that's like. Then you decide did the podcast come first or did the
The podcast.
website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the podcast. How did you say, I'm going to start a podcast?
Well, I had gone the therapy route, trying to fix myself through therapy and learn tools to live this new life. And therapy is hard. Um, it's hard to find someone who can work through the issues that you have.
Mhm.
Um, and I had shopped a lot and didn't find what I was looking for. And so I started working with a coach. And through working with him, started or I participated in a mastermind group. And one of the speakers that we had there was in the top 1% of podcasters. And she offers a course in learning how, like, the basics of podcasting. And in her 5 days, she like walks you through the whole process and you are able to launch that podcast the next day. And so I took it and I ran with it. So I was like the best student. I sat in those classes and I took notes and I did my homework and I launched that podcast. And I haven't looked back. It was not something that I ever thought I would do, but once we started talking about the blessings that it can be in just navigating through whatever you're navigating. I was the only TBI wife in that group, but I knew that I was placed in this position to help people. Like you said, you
Hmm.
have always known that you're here to help people, and there is there's help for the TBI patient, right? Like you've
Yeah.
got the therapies, you've got the things, but for the wives and the families, there's not a lot of support, and our
Hmm.
lives are rocked,
Right.
completely changed, and being able to navigate through that is hard. Um, it's not easy, and so talking to a therapist it's not someone who understands what you're
Right.
going through. They may have
Exactly.
gone to school and whatever, but so in different parts of our journey, I've just recognized that there are blocks, there are gaps within our system to help
Oh yeah.
us, and what better type of person to help us than our peers, than
Yeah.
other women who have gone through this, that are going through this. And so, why not I be that person? And so, the idea of Real Lives of TBI Wives was to give women with brain injury husbands a space to tell their story beyond
Mhm.
their husband's injury, because we quite honestly become that injury. Our
Yep.
life, the ins and outs, are him and his recovery. And we, not out of his fault or our fault or the system's fault, like we just take a back burner. And so I want
Hmm.
to be able to help women to be able to reclaim themselves, and that's where I came with reclaim. Like you are not meant to be your husband's brain injury. You are meant for so much more. So let me
Yeah.
help you take small steps to reclaim your life and your identity beyond his injury.
I love that.
Thanks.
I love the time. Okay, you're first of all, let me just give you the accolades that you deserve. The real lives of TBI wives, genius.
Thanks.
And then reclaim is so simple, but it says so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've looked at both of your podcasts. Personally, I love your podcast,
Thank you.
even though I'm not a caregiver, but
Yeah.
but I don't think it's really intended for just to
Yeah.
be for caregivers. But yeah, if you're watching this, go subscribe to her channel because you're on
I'm everywhere.
yeah anywhere you can find a podcast.
Yeah.
You're on YouTube, Spotify, iHeart. Yeah, you are on
Yes.
iHeart because
Yep.
that's where I keep listening to you.
Yep.
Duh.
On iTunes,
Yeah,
all of the things. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I
reclaim
uh-huh.
when you okay. How did you form reclaim?
Well, I just I how did I form it? So with recognizing where I was before and where I have come,
Hmm.
just creating simple steps to start to reclaim yourself. So I help women to create those systems, those boundaries, being able to reconnect with themselves and their higher power, mine being God, and being able to radiate that to other people. My vision is the lighthouse, and that is shining the light through other people's storms. So I have walked this walk, and I want to be able to shine the light to be able to help other women walk this walk a little easier, help to give them tools to lighten their load. And that's what I do with Reclaim.
I love your vision. I love
Thanks.
everything that you're doing, and that you can see the heart behind it. You're not just a person out there going, "How do I make money off of this?"
Yeah.
You, your first thought is, "How?
Hmm.
How can I help others?" And that's the kind of person that people should be following. So if
Thank
you're
you.
not following her, you need to be. I will be linking both your um, Reclaim website will be in the description, so make sure you look below if you want to get more information about that. Um, Also, the podcast, your various podcast, well, not your various podcasts, but everywhere you can find her that I can find will be linked below. And she's just a powerful person, and I'm imagining the thumbnail should be something like you flying across the Cape.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm really glad that we were able to connect and just be able to support each other.
Yeah,
Um, it's building, just filling in that gap.
yeah,
We know that once we have our loved ones or you discharged from the hospital, it's kind of just like, here you go.
yeah.
Here's your person. Enjoy your
Mm-hmm,
life, even though you don't have the tools to deal with it.
mm-hmm.
Um, and and to be able to support you, our TBI spouses, well, we also need to be equipped. And how do we do that when we're trying to tread water? And so I think you and I are both trying to, we're not trying, we are helping people to find those resources and make this a little more joyful.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have to be the end of the world.
No.
Yeah. And to me personally, this is Rob's personal belief. As long as you have God as your anchor, you've already fought the battle.
Yep.
So how
He's
many
got
times
us.
do we go, geez, if I'd have just did an XYZ, well, that was God saying, hey, listen, knock, 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 knucklehead, listen to me.
If you're not listening, I'm going to do something to make you listen.
I'll tell you what the funny thing is for me, I was not one of those people, every time you go through a tragedy, everyone's typical response is, why me, why me,
Why
why
me?
me? And I never did that, which was
Me
very
either.
odd for me because I'm not the kind of person, Aunt so and so does. Why me?
Yeah.
But every night I would go, God, give me a purpose for this pain. Help
Yeah.
me to help others. I prayed that prayer for 2 years before finally it took a therapist I was complaining to her. I was like, I get on YouTube every night because I can't sleep and no one's doing what I'm looking for. And she goes, then you do it.
You do it. Yep.
Hello.
Yep.
Okay.
We're doing all the things we wish we had while we were going through it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you don't want others to have to reinvent the wheel.
Hmm.
Why should they? Because when you leave the hospital, like you said, you're on your own.
Yep.
Unless you went through a major brain surgery or, almost got decapitated, God forbid,
Hmm.
they don't like to call it a brain injury. Here's a concussion, go home, lay it out for a few days, and then you go back to work when you feel like it. What kind of advice is that?
Right.
You wouldn't tell that to someone that cut their leg off.
Hmm.
You wouldn't say, "Oh no, just go lay it off for a few days and then go back to work when you feel like it."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad
And
advice.
how to mourn the things, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you all as brain injury survivors and us as wives, like we need to mourn the life that we had, and that's okay to do. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that it's okay to sit in that forever, and that's where we step in. That's where we
Right.
help you move beyond that, give you the space to mourn all the things that were, but let's look forward and look forward to the things that can be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's another thing too that I failed miserably at. I was
it's
constantly
not failure.
mourning my old life.
Hmm.
I couldn't get past everything I lost, and I lost vision of everything that I could do better now. You know, I used to play that piano behind me. I play by ear, but I
Hmm.
was only from the age of 4 years old. I was able to play in one key only. Well, the brain injury after that, I'm able to play in like three different keys.
See,
Now, if that's
love
not a
it.
God thing, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
So even though I've lost a lot
purpose
of what
beyond
I
your pain.
was, yeah,
Yeah,
it does come with some free gifts.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just have to have our eyes open to receive
Hmm.
those, right? Because it's very easy to sit in the poor me and the woe is me.
Right.
Um, but there's so much beyond this.
Hmm.
You just have to be open and willing to receive it.
Right. And we forget, at least the survivors that I know forgets that, yeah, we're mourning the loss of what we were, but our spouses are too.
And we don't have the therapy to work through that, right?
Right. Hmm.
The ambiguous grief is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interviewing a lady that's wrote the book about grief. So I'll give you her contact information if you'd
Please
like to
do.
talk to her as well. I
Yeah.
think it's a great resource for anybody, really.
Yeah. I've been searching for someone to talk about grief.
Oh, I got you. I got your
I
back.
got you. Love it. Love it.
Well, in the last few minutes here, I'm going to give you the floor to say
Oh
whatever
man.
is on your heart.
Well, I just want to go back to grace. In we are all doing what's best with the resources that we have in offering ourselves grace, getting up in the morning and thanking God for the breath in our lungs and the day ahead of us. And no matter how big or small, just do one thing to to better your day, to better yourself, to better your mindset, whether it be a walk around the block, um, playing in the leaves, do something to put a smile on your face.
I love that.
Thanks.
I think you're my sister or something because I do that. My goal when I wake up every day is to run one bad mood.
I love it.
If I can
Have a
make somebody laugh,
conversation with someone in the grocery store, right? Like, don't go to the self checkout line.
yeah,
Go to a checker. Ask them how their day is.
yeah.
Turn their
There's a
frown
lot of
upside down.
people out there that just need love.
Yeah.
If you, yeah, like you said, you go to the grocery store, what do you see? You're seeing people that their mission is to get in and get out, and if you say something to them or if you get in their way, you're a bother to them.
Hmm.
But when you're nice to people, it blows them away. They're so unexpected.
Yeah.
I held a door open for a lady yesterday, and she was like, "Thank you."
How do I receive that?
Yeah, we forget how to receive
Hmm.
that good kindness. So
Yeah.
yeah, be kind to yourself, but also be kind to others.
Absolutely. Love it. Most importantly, be kind to yourself.
Exactly. We have
Hmm.
to give ourselves plenty of grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so fun talking with you today.
You
I've really
too.
enjoyed it. And the door is always open. If any topic you want to talk about, let's talk
Cool.
about it.
Let's do it.
So, guys, make sure you check out her website, check the links below. And this has been Rob with Life Rewired. See you next week.
Thank you.
Just re-inspired. This is me, my life rewired.